Hello. Wow. Thank you so much, Crystal, for your kind introduction. I would also like to thank Mayor Turner, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, Congresswoman Sylvia Garcia, and the rest of the elected leadership in the room. I am truly honored and energized to address such a vibrant crowd here in the Lone Star State. Honestly, none of this would be possible without Chad Griffin and the Human Rights Campaign, so thank you so much for all that you do. So I've had a busy couple months. Never underestimate what can happen when you agree to go on a date with a cute guy from South Bend, Indiana. Truthfully, being Pete's husband has already been the adventure of a lifetime. I now live in a world where people take photos of me in the deodorant aisle at the grocery store. But it is not lost on me that I was able to marry the man I love by the grace of one Supreme Court vote. And behind that vote lies decades of struggle, organizing, and advocacy led in large part by the Human Rights Campaign. I could be the first man in history to pick out the White House china. And that is only possible because of you. So thank you. The Human Rights Campaign was there for me long before I met my husband. When I was 18 years old, I worked up the courage to tell my parents that I was gay. And while we have a great relationship now, back then, things weren't easy. Eventually, I thought to myself, I can't be here anymore. So I moved out without a plan. I was scared, living between my car and friends' couches, up in Traverse City, Michigan. I was taking classes at the community college where I heard about HRC. I signed up and I proudly slapped that HRC sticker on the back bumper of my car. It was like a bat signal to let other queer people know I was one of them. My way of finding community, of finding a home at a time when I didn't have one. Many of us know the loneliness that comes with coming out. Even today, years later, it can be a painful, isolating experience, and you can only hope to meet someone who understands you, who tells you that you matter and that you belong. Mrs. Bach, my high school drama teacher, did that for me. She knew I needed a place where I could feel safe, so she let me hide in the auditorium on tougher days. She's the reason I'm a teacher, why I studied theater education, and why I advocate for the arts today. And now I get to show up for my students in the same way she showed up for me. Not long ago, a few students asked if I could be their diversity club advisor. So I opened up my classroom and gave them a space to just be. They asked me the questions they'd been holding in, and I answered speaking truthfully about the difficulties they might face. I couldn't sugarcoat the dangers out there. There's no denying we've made progress. In less than a decade, we've achieved marriage equality and overturned Don't Ask, Don't Tell. But the safety and security of LGBT Americans is still at risk every day. Trans Americans, and in particular Black trans women, face horrifyingly high murder rates. The President of the United States is trying to ban transgender people from serving their country. And Texas's legislature is working to deny LGBT people the full expression of themselves. And in more states than not, you can still legally be fired because of who you are and who you love. Your work at HRC Houston is so urgent and important. The fight for LGBTQ equality did not end when same-sex marriage was legalized. Today, we have a patchwork of protections that vary depending on which side of a state border you live on. But your zip code should not determine your right to work, your right to learn, your right to live free of discrimination. It shouldn't determine whether you're entitled to the full blessing of the United States of America. That's why the Equality Act has to be our community's top federal legislative priority. LGBT people deserve full protection from discrimination, whether you are from Texas or whether you're from Indiana. My students deserve that. Your loved ones deserve that. All the people who haven't told the world who they are, who are terrified there's no space for them, deserve that. We need someone in the White House who will sign the Equality Act into law. And luckily, I know a guy. My husband, Pete Buttigieg, you can call him Mayor Pete, was commissioned as a naval intelligence officer when Don't Ask, Don't Tell was still the law of the land, and served a 7-month tour in Afghanistan when a certain vice president was governor of his home state. Peter is ready to serve our country in the highest office, and just as importantly, I think America is ready for him, because of the heroic work that you have done over the decades to help make this country more equal and more just. Over the last 3 months of traveling the country at his side, meeting people from all walks of life, we have discovered that people are united in protecting our values of freedom, democracy, and security, especially freedom, to live an authentic life regardless of who you love or how you identify. And we have that freedom only because of the relentless determination of courageous activists and advocates like all of you, who narrow the gap between the country we are and the country we can be, the country we should be. It's like what Harvey Milk said: burst down those closet doors once and for all, and stand up and start to fight. So this is our moment to keep standing up and keep fighting for an even better tomorrow. Thank you.